Welcome back to Arrows and Alphabets. Today we are jumping into week 2 of the Homeschool Objections series. And if you are new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, last week I started a series where I am going to go through 6 homeschool objections that I often hear and that you all suggested to me on social media. And I just hope that this series will be an encouragement to anyone who feels the call to homeschool but is afraid to take the jump. And even for those of you who are already homeschoolers, because let's be honest, we all have bad days, and there are times when all of us have probably thought, it would be a lot easier if I sent my kids to school. So anyway, I hope you'll join me in this series, and I hope that it will be a little bit of encouragement to you. So the second objection that I hear probably the most, next to what we talked about last week, which was patience, is what about socialization? Or I can't homeschool, my kids need to be socialized. I think that this maybe stems from like years and years ago when homeschooling wasn't as common as it is now, and resources were probably a lot more limited to homeschoolers, and people just fear that. They fear that their kids won't know how to interact with others because they think that they won't be around other people very much. But that is so far from the truth. And so the first thing that I want to do is share the definition of socialization. And so Merriam-Webster says that socialization is the process beginning during childhood by which individuals acquire the values, habits, and attitudes of a society. And the other definition that I found in the Merriam-Webster dictionary is socialization is social interaction with others. Based on these definitions, I don't think that it is necessary to be in a traditional school in order to be socialized. So according to this definition, I would say that my kids are very well socialized. We participate in a classical conversations community, so every week they are with their peers, as well as adults who are pouring into them other than me. My kids go with me to the grocery store where they interact with cashiers and other adults in the store. We go to church every week, and they are around people of all ages there. And we go to parks and play, and we go to the library, and there's just so many places that my kids go and that they are socialized, that they interact with others, and that's it. That's socialization. By definition, that is what it is. And so be encouraged that if you want to homeschool, there are so many ways that you can find for your kids to interact with others. You can enroll them in sports. You can register for a co-op. You can join a classical conversations community. There's wild and free groups, Tinker Garden. There's just so many things to choose from, and the best way to find out about things local to you would be to join a Facebook group for your area for homeschoolers, and meet other moms on there and find out what's going on. I know just in my area there are so many things, and before we started homeschooling, I had no idea that the homeschool community here was so vast. And once I started getting involved, I realized that there are so many families here that homeschool, and they're families of so many different backgrounds, and it's just really beautiful when you can see those families come together and you can see your kids interacting with them. And that's another great thing about it. If your kids are in a traditional school, you don't get to be a part of that socialization and those interactions as much as you would be able to be if you were a homeschooler. And so I just would encourage you that if you are a homeschool family and you feel like you're lacking in this area, if you are interested in homeschooling and you feel like this is going to be something that you struggle with, look around in your area and see what you can find. I'm sure that there are a lot of opportunities out there. And also, I want to say really quickly, because since I mentioned sports as a way to socialize, I have heard people say that they don't want to homeschool because they want their kids to be able to play sports. And I know that in my state and several others, that they passed a law that some call it the Tim Tebow law, but it's a law that says that your child can play sports for the school that is in your school district. So if that is something you're interested in, I would do some looking around in your state and see if that's available to you. Because I didn't know about that at first, and my kids really aren't big enough to play any sports at the local schools, but when my kids are older, if they want to participate in any of the sports that are offered, I think that's something that we might look into. So I hope that this was helpful to you and motivating, encouraging, and I hope to see you back in the next few weeks to finish out this series. And if you just jumped in with us today, be sure and go back and watch the first video in the series. And I hope you have a great day. I'll see you soon.